This is a demonstration of the installation of the new Lockpick Air. We're in a 2014 Dodge Ram. To gain access to the back of the screen, we're going to plug the lockpick harness into. We need to remove this bezel around the front of the screen. To get to that, it takes a series of steps to do it. Basically what we do is just remove some screws from underneath this little rubber pad here. There's a couple more screws underneath this rubber pad. There's one screw right in this back corner over here. And then after that, we'll lift this whole assembly out, and then we'll pull the bezel free from around the front of it. So just a few screws, and then you can get this bezel to pull free to expose the screws in the screen. Okay, we've taken the screws out from up here, the one from in here, a couple in here. Another thing we're going to do is take this little trim that goes around the center console here. I'm going to pull that up also. A lot of times when you're lifting up this center console, it'll come out with it, but it's better to take it out first. So just kind of just reach around the edges and pull it out like that. And just work it around the edge until it's released, that little trim piece. And that'll allow the rest of it to just kind of pull out. So, with that out of the way, then this other bezel here can be pulled free, and I'll get that loose and show you. Okay, now taking the entire bezel, just kind of grabbed it, pulled it free. It will then lean forward and expose the screws on the back of the, around the corners, of the radio. Now one thing I've done here as I was pulling it free is on the corners, right on the very corners here. You can get it out without doing this, but it actually makes it a little easier if you go ahead and pop this side piece off first. Do it on both sides. That gives the corners a little bit more room whenever you're rotating this forward. Not such a big deal when taking it apart. When you're putting it back together again with those side pieces off, makes it really easy. Anyway, just go ahead and lean this forward, and now I'll take the 4 screws from around the radio to expose the connector on the back side. The 4 screws have been removed on the outside corners of this screen. That'll allow it to pivot forward. On the back side is the large connector that we're going to unplug, that will then plug into the lockpick harness. It's a big black connector. It has a locking tab right on the end of it here, so basically you just push in the tab and then rotate it up. As you rotate that locking tab up, it actually ejects the connector itself. This is the Lockpick Air module we're going to be installing. This is a plug-and-play harness, so basically we're just going to plug it directly into the original harness and then back into the screen where the original connector was plugged in at. So it's just simple, no other connections are necessary for it. It comes remote control. It'll also use steering wheel controls. It has an antenna here. This is for a Wi-Fi connection where it can connect to any smartphone wirelessly. There'll be audio and video inputs here. You can plug any device you want to into it. It'll display it on the front screen. You can also connect multiple cameras. So you can do left and right cameras for turn signal cameras if you'd like. You can do front and rear cameras. You can also do a second rear camera. So you can have not only just one rear camera, but you can also have another rear camera that can show maybe if you're pulling a trailer, things like that. And that can be the default one if you like. You can switch them back on the fly, whichever one you like, or turn any camera on individually that you want to. Included in the harness also is power and ground for all the cameras. You don't have to search anything on the car. They'll all plug in right here, and say the videos will plug right into the box and you're ready to go. Okay, now we're plugging in the lockpick harness. We've already connected the factory connector to one end of our lockpick harness. The other one's going to go directly to the screen. Whenever you're plugging in these connectors, make sure that the locking bar is up first, and then you push the connector halfway in or so. And then as you push the locking bar down, it will pull the connector in and lock it. And I can demonstrate that here. We've already got this one halfway plugged in. Basically, I'm just going to push this tab down. As I do that, it pulls the connector in and locks it in place. Okay, we've got the lockpick installed now. Everything's plugged in. I'll give a quick demonstration of the functions of it here. What I'll do is activate the menus. I can do that via the remote control or the bezel buttons, steering wheel buttons, those kind of things. I can move it up and down, select, again using just the steering wheel buttons. So we'll go ahead and go through them here. We have an override function, allows navigation input while you're in motion. We have the Lockpick Air, that's our Wi-Fi connection to your smartphone. There's an aux AV function. This is just the standard AV inputs that are right in the box. You can plug anything you want into it. Aux back docks is just the audio we can push through. View cameras, this is where you can activate any of the cameras that are connected to the lockpick module. We can see a rear camera. We can have a second rear camera. This could be one connected to the back of a trailer or to show a bed cam, something like that. But also timeout. I can go ahead and pull it back up again here. We have a front camera. You can connect one to the front of the car, activate it anytime you want to. You can also have it turn on automatically at low speeds. We also have left and right cameras. Those will activate individually on demand, or you can have them turn on automatically with the turn signals. Continuing on, you have headrest outputs. This is the options. You can send out any of these videos that I'm talking about. You can send that to a second screen or to headrest outputs, or any of the AV inputs on the Lockpick. You can send those to outputs. We have an auto rear function. This will turn on automatically your rear camera when you put the car in reverse. We can switch that to a second rear camera, so it shows you a second rear camera instead of the standard rear camera view. Also, auto front cameras turns on automatically when you're going below 7 miles per hour, turns off by itself as soon as you speed up. That helps for parking. Auto turns activated by the turn signals. We can also take these headrest cameras or the cameras and send them out to a headrest or a second screen. The interface now can display both languages, English and Spanish. And it's USB upgradable, so we can change the software on it just by plugging in, and we have the software updates available on the website if they become necessary. We can have new updates that we might put into it, or maybe the car will change. We can keep up to date with that. Okay, I'll go ahead and demonstrate the Wi-Fi functions of the Lockpick module. This is for the Lockpick Air. I'll go ahead and push the menu button, and we'll bring up the menu. I'll select the Lockpick Air. And right now we're in the Miracast mode. That particular mode is compatible with the Android phones. I have a Samsung phone here. We'll go ahead and select the screen mirroring on that one. And what it'll do is connect to the Lockpick Air module. And then it'll just basically mirror the functions from the phone onto the front screen. And here we have it. So from there I can go back to any of the functions. I can select the internet. I can view internet on the front screen. I can also come back. I can play movies from here. Here we have the Lego movie. And of course all the functions for the Lockpick Air are audio plus video. So you have full function audio video. Okay, next what I'll do is connect the iPhone. We'll show how that works, and that'll complete the demonstration. Okay, to operate the iPhone, iPads, any of the iOS devices, we're going to need to toggle over to the DLNA mode, and this is all built into the Lockpick. You can just push the source button, the little button on the back of your steering wheel, and that will cause it to reboot in a different mode. And now we've rebooted into the DLNA mode. That's the one that is compatible with the iOS devices, Apple devices, iPads, iPhones. To connect to the phone is really simple. Just kind of scroll it from the bottom, select AirPlay, select the Lockpick Air, and turn on the mirroring. And when you do that, it'll take the information from the phone and send it to the front screen. And again, it'll work very similar to the Samsung, where you can select any of these different functions. And all these will show on the front screen. You can also come back, you can show your videos that you've taken yourself. Now the iPhone blocks videos that you download from iTunes. And also any of your own pictures you've taken, you can have those send over. A lot of the games are compatible with the AirPlay and they'll come through as well. Even the maps and stuff will come through. I'll show you on that. So it can show you the full function for map, and if you didn't have nav in your car, this will work. It'll show it on the front screen and it'll give you the sound through the sound system. That concludes the demonstration of this. Very simple installation. As far as plugging it in, no extra wires to connect. The bezels and stuff, when we're taking these apart, they're actually composed of 3 different types of screws. So just keep that in mind, that there'll be a Torx head screw that we use up on the very top here, on top of the bezel, that you have to take out. There's Phillips screws that are on the bottom of the of this console here, and there's also 7mm screws that are holding the screen itself in. So you need a few tools to take it apart. Other than that, it's just pulling it apart with your fingers.